After watching 5.5 minutes of the video titled First Grade Guide to Math, um, we're going to be looking at the note sheet that I would have taken as I'm watching that video. So here's the PDF, the teacher anecdotal note sheet. Looking at this document, we can see the students that we called out. We have a boy in a solid shirt, a boy in a plaid shirt, a girl with long hair, and girl with short hair. We have here in the middle the learning topic that teaches the skill, what I assume she was doing. So pull out a number, whatever number it is, you're going to write it as a double. You may solve in your head, but I want you to prove it on your board. Prove it to me using some method. And so, talking to her about, or just looking at that class, we're working with doubles. And though there isn't a TEK necessarily for first grade that says doubles, and again, this is Texas we're talking about, but the video is not Texas. So we can see and just assume based off of the TEKs we know that it's 1.3D. Apply basic fact strategies to add and subtract within 20, including making 10 and decomposing a number leading to a 10. And so here are my observations, and again, you're observing strengths and struggles. Not necessarily weaknesses, we don't want the deficit mindset, but we do want to see the struggle areas. So boy in a solid shirt, we can see what he was doing and what he couldn't do. Boy in plaid, girl in long hair, girl short hair. So after looking at what they're doing in the class and what they can and can't do and putting some notes as what I would say as a teacher and what the student kind of responds to, we can look at all those pieces and make some suggestions. Every time you're making an anecdotal note sheet, be looking at what the kid is saying, what the kid isn't saying, what the kid is doing, what the kid isn't doing. After you have a good idea, we always want to go back to the TEKs and make sure that we are understanding the TEK in its totality. So in our class, we have the TEK snapshots here. And so this is the first grade class. Let's go to first grade TEK snapshot. And so I know that whole numbers, or I know that doubles is part of addition and subtraction for kids. And so I can see a variety of TEKs right here. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's 1 through C, composed 10 or more. And then again, 1 through D, apply basic fact strategies. Doubles is a basic fact strategy for addition and subtraction. And so I see all the pieces right here, composed 10 with 2 or more add-ins, with and without concrete objects. Apply basic fact strategies to add and subtract within 20, making 10 and decomposing number leading to 10. And then again, we can say 1 3E, explain strategies, all those bits and pieces. And so me as a teacher have a good understanding now from looking at the TEKs, what my kid needs to be able to do in totality, right? So if I'm going to go back to that guided note sheet that I was taking, I could then say, okay, so this is what I heard and this is what I saw. What might be the next step? So the student can look around. Can he do a double? He looks around. He needs plaid shirts to work. He says, I see a 5 group. So he has strategies right here, but he's unable at times to explain it all the way through. So then some next steps would be to decompose and explain the parts, work on those oral justifications with him. He wrote 2 plus 2 plus 4. He proved line and dots and 1 plus 1 above. He's able to decompose a number fairly well. But when he's asking about what those were, 10 sticks and the number, he said, no, they're ones. We need to work on some vocabulary also. Again, this is a different state, but here in Texas, we say rods and units and things like that, not just 10 sticks and ones. And so going forward with the boy in the plaid shirt, can he double? He looks around, uses the number line in front, gives him a 10 frame. Many times he was counting with dots. Dots is a fast and easy way, or an easy way for kids to count, one of the basic, most fundamental ways to start. But it isn't the best way because it leads into a lot of areas of error. I can put dots on the paper and think I have 7 dots and 7 dots, and so when I count them up, maybe I count one twice or count one, or don't count one at all, or leave one out. So he uses the 10 frame to get that done. Now we could be doing something with groups of 5 like the first student did. So for him, I might be working with decomposing numbers. Well, 7 is a 2 and a 5, and if I'm relating that to the 10 frame, that's an easily made connection. And so this is what anecdotal notes do for you. You see and hear what the student is doing, and then you make a next kind of step going forward. We don't have many data points for our lower grade kids, so we have to use some type of anecdotal forms to get that continuum for them growing and going.